Coming up on a Get Loud podcast, we're talking about a dub against the Giants.
Yes, a win at Northwest Stadium.
We'll start. Good vibes at Northwest Stadium.
And great vibes at Northwest Stadium.
We'll start talking about the defense, and Bram Weinstein's going to be here. We'll talk about the
voice.
Offense, the voice.
Yes.
Of the Washington Commanders. And then...
we're going to talk Mississippians, famous Mississippians.
And a certain city by the name of...
Hell.
How you doing, guys? It is the Get Loud podcast. Smoot, Jenks, finally.
Yeah, finally got that win of a new era. The first win of a new era. And it felt good at Northwest Stadium.
It felt real good.
The sun was shining over there. It was trickling. I really enjoyed it. The fans was there. The energy was there. And it just feels like just truly good omens over there right now.
And you know what? When I say that, you know, they put millions of dollars into the stadium, they really have put millions of dollars.
You can see
and you can see it from driving up to especially being inside. I was walking around like, that's a new coat of paint.
Yeah.
That's new food.
There's
Look
new
at those
wallpaper
seats. Yeah,
over there.
I mean, it does.
Yeah.
I understand the facility is the facility, but it does look a lot
But come
better.
on, all of us then had a house that we was like, this house still got good bones.
Yeah.
I am finna redo this house and update it. That's what happened to the stadium, man. Like, you got self-checkouts. You like they heard what the fans said. Like, this is too long. This is too long. I don't like this parking lot. And they're trying, and that's all you can ask.
Yeah,
like,
no
that's
doubt.
all you can ask. Somebody to try. The house looks a lot better. I thought the team looked better. All right, first game, we went on the road. Played against a playoff team, it looked like it. You came back home and you handled business and you beat a team and you got over, a.k.a. the giant hump.
I was just going to say, how nice is it? And I understand it's a Giants.
No. Don't belittle that.
Right.
Don't belittle that. Because when they whooping us, it ain't we just whoop
I
them.
mean, it's true. Coming into this game, Daniel Jones was completing 70% of his passes.
Yes.
He had thrown 10 touchdowns and 3 picks. So, for some reason,
He felt good here.
against the Burgundy and Gold, he just always showed out. So, it was good to get a dub over this crew. Whatever was going on, finally to get over that hump like you were talking about is huge.
Just get the elephant out the room.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no matter how good y'all are, how bad we are, we as the New York Giants here in Manhattan, we can beat y'all up anytime we feel like it.
I got a voice for you, by the way.
Thank you. I was tired of it. And then me, myself, a guy that's had traumatic dreams of playing in this rivalry. I never forget just looking on the sideline, and across the sideline, I would see Michael Strahan and his two tusks just sitting there smiling at me as they like destroy us. Like, I have this picture sword in my head of just Michael Strahan continuously smiling. He wasn't smiling Sunday.
Was he, or was there ever a team that just like got in your head and was no reason for it? It's like, we should be killing these dudes.
You know what? It's just this giant battle. Me and Plexico had battles on the outside. Then they'll just run Brandon Jacobs at you. And then you got Shockey. And then on defense, they had OCU Minora, Justin Tuck, and Michael Strahan. It was even I saw Jesse Armstead on the sideline. You know, Jesse can't play here, but he's forever a Giant.
Yeah.
So it's just with these guys, they take on the Manhattan persona of we're New York, we're bigger, we're better. Not Sunday, you wasn't.
Well, coming up on the show, we're going to bring in Bram Weinstein, voice of Commanders in his 5th season. We're going to talk all about Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, talk about B-Rob, and everything that went into that offensive performance. Before we get into that, I wanted to ask you just how huge it is just to get a dub. And I know it was ugly, right? But in the NFL, you see a lot of ugly games. You take the dub however you can get it.
Ugly steaks get ate too. Nobody cares. A win is a win.
Yes.
Ain't no such thing as an ugly win in the NFL.
And a division win.
Ain't no such thing as an ugly win. We did it on the toe of our kicker. He didn't know he was going to be X to kick 7 field goals. Come on, the last time that happened, I think Dustin Hopkins had 6. And I think Chip Lowmiller.
Oh, Chip Lowmiller.
Chip Lowmiller had 5, all from 50 plus.
Oh, wow.
So that was a day of all days. But come on, your first day there, and you scored 21 points. Who had him on fantasy? Probably nobody. All right? You missed all those points. Clue Nana. All right? All I'm saying is, I thought, ugly or not, it's a win. We don't care about that. We are not into the fantasy football league. We're here for wins and losses. That's it. We beat a team that we hadn't beaten in 3-4 years. That matters. Right now, we're 1-0 in the division. We haven't been 1-0 in this division probably in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And you know it's crazy. It was a a very odd game,
Yeah.
right? Where Austin Seibert was signed on Monday.
Monday.
He had been there less than a week, and when he went to the post-game press conference, he was like, here's how you pronounce my name.
Yeah.
It's not Siebert,
Yeah,
it's Seibert. That's how you know you just got there.
Yeah. Don't forget this. Noah Brown just got here 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
He comes in the fourth quarter and makes that big play. So at the end of the day, that's the great thing about the NFL. You don't know when and where your number's going to get called. We always told this, be ready. And guess what? Our kicker was ready. The wide receiver was ready. Tyler Biadasz, I want to call him something so badass. That's what I want to call him. Because when you play against Dexter Lawrence, you're a badass. All right? Dexter Lawrence has yet to get a sack off of this dude when he was in the Cowboys and when he here. All right? Mm-hmm. It's something about that battle. We finally won the battle with Dexter Lawrence, and it got everything to do with Tyler Biadasz.
When we found out Graham Gano, we found out early would be out for the Giants.
Yeah.
So it clearly changed the calculus for the Giants on offense. How did it change things? If you're the defensive coordinator, how are you playing differently?
No, now I'm finna play bend but don't break defense. Mm-hmm. Now I don't care about how far they drive. They can't get points. After the punter tried to kick that field goal.
Not great, Bob.
Not they was like, you know what? We have to go for 2. Now as a defensive coordinator, I'm like, now fourth down matters. All right, now we got to play bend but don't break. I don't need to be as aggressive because I don't want to give up the big play. Yep. I want to keep everything in front of me. And I'm telling my team, we're going to stop them when they get to the red zone. Don't you worry about nothing else.
Yep.
We're going to stop them when they get to the red zone. It changes everything. Like, it's a couple times they did drive. Yep. And if they had just an average kicker, they getting those points. That 9 points is the difference between this game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It changed everything.
So you're saying if all of a sudden they have a kicker, they're not playing nearly as much bend but don't break. They're being more aggressive.
We're being aggressive. We're finna go after them because now we need plays.
Right.
Like, because every time you drive past the 40, you got a chance for points now. Mm-hmm. Now they could drive close as the 3-yard line and have to go for it on 4th. Mm-hmm. All right, that tells you that's a lose-lose situation. It's touchdown or bust.
Yep.
Touchdown or bust. How many times do people drive 85-plus yards? Don't happen.
Yeah.
All right, don't happen a lot. Touchdown or bust. Now as a coordinator, I'm in a whole different phase of everything.
And when you talk about being aggressive on defense, that one play from Frankie Louvu and that hit he laid on Malik Neighbors, who's going to be very good, by the way.
Yes, he is going to
be very good.
I'm going to give Malik Neighbors this. He showed me his athletic ability is top-notch yesterday. He showed me he can get physical. He showed me he has that right wide receiver arrogance to play in this league. But I got to say this. He had 18 targets Sunday.
I forget the record. It was like a record for rookie targets in like his rookie season. Like they looked to him constantly.
Terry has never had a game with 18 targets. I don't even think Santana has had a game with 18 targets. 18 targets, 10 catches, 122 yards. It looked good on paper. The 10 catches, 122. But as an offense, you betting right at 50% getting the ball to him. That ain't good. Like, everybody look and say St. Juice lost that battle. St. Juice had 3 PBUs and a forced fumble.
I was going to ask you about his performance because, sorry to interrupt, but St. Juice actually had a pretty good game. Like, there were a lot, It
was a battle.
Yeah, it went back and forth, but there were times when he'd have a breakup in a critical spot.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Making the play when you need the play to be made. That's a good thing about it. The other guy get paid too. Mm-hmm. When you get in the boxing ring, have you ever seen a match that the other guy never got touched? Like, you're going to take blows. That's the thing about it. St. Juice sitting there, he took those blows and he threw some blows back. All right? St. Juice has never been a very good interceptor of the ball, but he knows how to force fumbles. That's always been his thing. And the turnover was the difference in this game. We didn't turn the ball over.
Yep.
They did.
I think there's a real possibility that the defensive line can improve in a big way. Yeah. Because there were times where Devin Singletary got to the second level, and we know this defensive line is better than that.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's just like everybody else playing themselves into shape, understanding situations, understanding Joe Witt's defense. They only played 8 quarters in it so far. Yeah. Like, so they don't even really know everything their coordinator want them to do and how. I know what he wants me to do, but I'm learning how he wants me to go about doing it. And that's the process we in right now. And that's why I say my whole mantra on my post-game show was let grandma cook. Because grandma takes patience to cook. Right?
I love what you said. I'm like, what does Fred mean here?
Let grandma cook. You know how your cousin or your brother keep running in the kitchen? Is it finished yet?
Right.
Is it finished?
Okay,
No, grandma like, go sit down.
Right. I'll tell you.
I'll tell you when it's finished. Well, that's what we doing. All right. Let the coaches tell you when we're not a finished product. Mm-hmm. But we cooking. We getting there. We baking. We trying to get it to rise, get the cake to rise. But no, you need to be patient as a fan base.
Before we get to Bram, and again, we're going to talk about the offense, but one thing that absolutely has to be addressed.
Yeah.
Getting in the red zone and converting, because it was almost comical when they get there and there was a penalty, 6 times?
I'm going to hate to say this to you because you my castmate, you my teammate.
Oh, no. Am I overreacting?
Let grandma cook.
Oh, again?
Let grandma cook.
But don't you just have to cut down? Just like you got to play clean football.
You got to play clean football. True that. But we're marching the ball up and down the field. Mm-hmm. The next level to that is capitalizing on every time we get in the red zone. That's the next level. Mm-hmm. All right? That's the third hour of cooking right there. All right? You're jumping ahead of everything like everybody else. Let grandma cook. Hashtag let grandma cook.
You're just saying, like, let the process play
out. Let it play out. Because everybody wanted last week. Why we ain't do this? Why we ain't do this? Because we cannot do everything at one time. We cannot fix everything at one time. It's a process. Mm-hmm. All right? As long as you know where we at in the process, accept what should be coming from that. Mm-hmm. Not from what you want us to be. Not what we're going to be. What we are today. And what today is, we are in our infancy.
So,
you heard that word?
Infancy?
Yeah, I got you.
We're not in our infancy, or we are in our infancy.
We are in our infancy.
We're trying to get out of that.
No.
Trying to be into a full-grown adult.
No, but we have to grow. It takes time.
Yes.
It takes time.
Nobody goes from a baby to a man.
Well, you know
There's a teenage spot in between.
The only thing I know in this world that's true is that I used to be a baby, and I'm a future ghost.
It's true. That's also true.
that's
I was like, what is Anna's reaction? I see her go.
Hey, that's kind of like life for all of us.
Right.
I used to be a baby. Don't remember that much.
Okay.
Future ghost.
So what is it? I understand when you're in the red zone.
Yeah.
Educate me here. So when you're obviously the field is shortened, it changes how you operate your offense.
But the windows are smaller.
Yes. But when it comes to jumping off sides or whatever it may be,
like
what is it about the red? Is it nerves? Is it being anxious? What is it about the red zone and penalties in that particular part of the field that makes it different from the rest of the field?
I think we got a little too cute on a couple of those play calls.
Okay.
But I also seen where the Giants fans were sitting, and they were sitting in their end zone. So it makes me think that maybe at home they weren't expecting them to be so loud in that section of the field. Mm-hmm. And they were loud, and I think communication. And here goes the thing that I think people don't understand. I was listening to Joe Theismann talk about this. When you're in shotgun, it's harder for the offensive linemen to hear the quarterback checks.
Okay.
Compared to when you're on the center. When you're on the center, everybody is at your attention. They can hear everything you say. So if you're in the red zone and you're in the shotgun, you need it to be very quiet, because then my tackle can hear my check, my center can hear my check, and everybody else can. So I think it has a lot to do with logistics of where the quarterback lines up at and what was going on at Northwest Field the other day.
Are there nerves that are ever a part of it when you're talking about guys who are still learning the offense, guys who are learning to play together, guys who are under pressure, like, hey, we keep doing this, let's not do it again. And then, you keep sort of making the same mistake, not necessarily out of habit, because it's almost like you're trying too hard.
Yeah. Well, my mom used to take me to Pizza Hut when I was young. Come on, Jinx.
Okay, no, I'm listening.
Yeah. You remember Pizza Hut used to be a dine-in spot?
Pizza Hut used to be the bomb, man.
The bomb, right?
Yes.
So every Sunday we would go.
Okay.
And I don't know if I was just so excited because all this pizza and just the smells and the salad bar. But every Sunday I would reach for a slice of pizza and knock over my drink.
Okay.
To the point that my mom said, you know what, I'm just going to move this drink over here. And she was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know if I'm excited, anxious. I just don't care that the drink is there. But every week, so you can make mistakes without trying. Mm-hmm. And I think they was making those mistakes without trying because it never was the same person.
That's what I mean. They were kind of all over the place.
They were all over the place, and you can't get excited at that time. But I think it was just one of them things, mistakes were made. And once you start to go backwards in the red zone, you don't usually get that back.
Yeah.
You usually are forced to kick field goals.
Coming up, Bram Weinstein, voice of the Commanders, will be here. We'll talk about the Commanders' offense. But first, we got to pay those bills.
Yeah, we sure do. The Get Loud podcast is brought to you by Bet365. official sporting betting partner of the Washington Commanders. Bet on a range of NFL markets with the Bet365 app. Craft your own personalized bet slip with parlays. Access thousands of games with live streaming. Place your bet before the match or during the game. It's up to you. Download the Bet365 app today and join 80 million members worldwide. Age 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Virginia. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER and MWAA. We don't travel to escape life. We travel so life don't escape us. Hope you know what that means. We dream of any place in the world, and in the blink of an eye, we're there. That's the wonder of flight. All you have to do is decide where to. Dulles International Airport. Let your imagination soar. Book your adventure today at flydulles.com/nonstop.
As promised, we always bring the great guests here on the show. Bram Weinstein, voice of the Washington Commanders.
Yes, the voice. I was thinking about that while Wale was performing, because every pro franchise got this one entertainer that they attach to.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, if it wasn't Wale, who would it be?
Here?
Ooh.
Yes, who would it be?
So
DC?
back in the day, this is like a go-go act, like Chuck Brown,
yeah.
Rare
But
Essence,
no,
something
I'm
like
saying
that.
as of today, if it wasn't Wale, who represents DC?
DC?
There
Music
is
scene.
somebody who's sitting here watching this going, he forgot about me.
Sly Glizzy?
Yes.
Sly Glizzy or somebody?
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys.
Chappelle, but he's not a musical guy.
I'm finna say, like, when it comes to entertainment and you say DC, DMV, it's one guy that comes and that's Wale. But if you're going to say DMV, it could have been Pharrell.
Could have been Pharrell.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl is from the area, so the Foo Fighters technically could be.
Missy
DC
Elliott,
act.
Oh, she from here?
she from VA, Virginia Beach.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, it could have been Missy Elliott. All right, so we got a couple of people that it could have been, and I'm sure Baltimore has some guy out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm finna say Baltimore got somebody out there. So I don't know.
Well, we got a dub last Sunday.
Yes, we did, by any means necessary.
So, Bram, you're right there, and I listened to your call as I was driving home, getting ready for more stuff to do, and it was such a bizarre game the way things started.
Yeah.
Where the officiating is kind of all over the place, and there's red zone penalties, and that kind of continued throughout, and the Giants kicker. I mean, this game had a little bit of everything, and it wasn't pretty, as we talk about, but a dub is a dub. You take it in the NFL.
Okay, so this one is just chapter 8 of the Book of Weird between
Yeah,
the
it was.
Commanders and the Giants. And the second Graham Gano went down and wasn't able to kick, it obviously changed literally everything for them.
Yep.
Played out at the end. And then I didn't have I never really prepared for we're going to kick 7 field goals and win situation.
Right, yeah.
That's a new one.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about it. What really did it for me was, even though that the kickoff return where Eckler was called back, it was the determining factor of this game. Once the kicker went down, it changed everything. So I asked myself, would I rather keep that 7? Or would I rather Graham Gano stay down? And this Graham Gano stay down because it affected the end of the game. Like, think about this. They had 3 drives at the end of the game that they got inside the 10 or 15, and they didn't have a kicker. So that's 4 down territory for them. With me as a defensive coordinator, I know that also. I just got to keep you out the end zone. I think that was the determining factor of the game. Oddly, I thought it was.
Yeah.
So when you look back at this, I'm trying to figure out the template for this team. And what I mean by that is, okay, we know Jaden's going to develop, but as he develops, is the right template to feed B-Rob, who was awesome in this game, and then let that sort of be the foundation and let Jaden go from there, or is it something else?
So I think it's a few things, really. Like, the red zones is probably just its own conversation in itself, that they were, penalties derailed a few of the drives. We can talk about maybe why, some of these things happened, because it was unusual. Like, they weren't all the same thing. Sometimes you see, like, the same thing rear up. It wasn't, actually. They were all very different circumstances by which they were backed up and hurt themselves. I have felt through the profile of this team that they had spent some money to try to upgrade the middle of their offensive line by bringing in Allegretti, Biotish, and then, re-signing Sam Cosmi. And you have B-Rob and you bring in Austin Eckler, and look at the profile of the receivers on the team. I don't think you're going to see a bunch of players that scare people down the field, but they're actually very physical players. Yeah. That this is logical to me, that this was going to head in a direction where this team runs the ball more than I think people outside, the area thought.
Yep.
And with these 2 particular players, and B-Rob, and I've been waiting for this for a year, ever since he got healthy after the incident his rookie year. Last year, what was really infuriating to me about the offense was, here you have this bell cow physical running back that you could lean on who wants it so bad.
Yes.
And the only time we ever saw this was a couple of years ago in Philadelphia, where they just leaned on him and they went and knocked off the Eagles. They can be this with him. I'm glad we saw this.
Yeah.
And I hope we get more of it. And frankly, against Cincinnati, who's got a passing game that's frightening, I think they ought to be running the ball up the middle and leaning on B-Rob.
And also, he's one of those guys where he will wear you out if you feed him.
I was just about to say that, Jenks. I'm not saying they the same back, but I played with this guy. When I first got here as a rookie, Stephen Davis. He would leave defensive backs in his wake. And when I say in his wake, I mean, if you watch these first two games, how many defensive backs have you seen walk off the field after a collision with Brian Robinson? It takes a toll on you. And that's what we say. It's a couple of backs in this league that leave bodies in their wake. And he is one of those guys. He can physically bend you to his will. And then you bring in Eckler. As much as people think Eckler is just shifted back, he's one of the strongest dudes on this team. So even he wears you down. We had 200-plus yards rushing yesterday. And that's the best defense for a quarterback. If I want to stop Joe Burrow, Robinson and Eckler stopped Joe Burrow by keeping him on the sideline, by running the ball. We led in time, like we had time of possession. We won that. If you win that with a quarterback like Joe Burrow on the other sideline, you got a chance to win that game.
Robinson said this in the post-game press conference. He goes, I've been waiting to get 17 carries again. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
You know what? He gets better as the games go along.
Yeah.
Like, he's the last person the defense wants to see in a close game in the third and fourth quarter, getting the ball. You know, he's just a physical running back. When was the last time you saw him go backwards on a play? Like,
never.
Always finishes a run. He falls at, he reminds me of Stephen Davis, too.
Yeah.
I'll even go further back.
Yeah.
Gerald Riggs, George Rogers. These type of tough running backs that were kind of the core of the Washington football team back then. The Hogs they were a physical team. He totally fits the personality of what Dan Quinn talks about.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that eventually they found him, and I don't think this is a one-off. I mean, I think we're heading in this direction where he's a feature of the offense.
Bram, here goes the thing, too, nobody's talking about. Biotish has played against Lawrence, I think, 8 times, including his time with the Cowboys. He hasn't given up 1 sack against him. He didn't give up 1 sack against him this Sunday. That's a matchup nobody talks about because offensive line, defensive line, not sexy. But Biotish is one of those guys that I think set the tempo because how many times have we watched Dexter Lawrence wreck a game here?
Oh.
Right? But I didn't see him yesterday. I seen a couple of plays he made, but I thought Biotish is one of those guys that should get that check box. You did your job.
How about 2 weeks in a row? I mean, he was a captain yesterday. You do game captains because of the way he handled Vita Vea. So that's 2 weeks in a row, Vita Vea, Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a start for him.
That's what you want.
No doubt about that. So as the game went on, too, we saw a couple plays from Jaden late where all of a sudden he's going through his progressions. That completion to Noah Brown is absolutely huge late in the game. So when you talk about a quarterback developing, sometimes it's just baby steps. It's never these leaps and bounds. And I feel like throughout the game on Sunday, we saw a little bit of that.
A little bit better than yesterday.
Yeah.
That's all I want my quarterback to do. And watching him, his second game, his 7th quarter of his career, for him to be going through progressions the way he did and make it to his 3rd progression, knowing he has these wheels, that says everything. That's saying he said last week, I did it, but it's a couple of these plays, I should have got outside the pocket not to run. I should have got outside the pocket to throw. And that's what people need to understand. He's a dual threat now. He becomes a triple threat when he gets outside the pocket and not just to run, but still looking downfield for wide receivers. Now you're a triple threat like Pat Mahomes. And like you said, that takes development.
This is 2 weeks in a row. Same thing happened. I thought his internal clock in week 1 against Tampa was very sped up in the first game. Vacated the pocket a little early on some of those. I think that's why the rush total was so high, at least initially. When you got to the second half, they did do some design runs, but things really slowed down for him there. That's against an exotic team that brings a lot of blitzes. This one is not one of those teams. Sunday when they took on the Giants. Still at the same time, to your point, as the game progressed, it slowed down again for him. He's going through progressions. He's throwing dime passes over the middle to a guy who's been here for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, right? The call to Eckler on the rollout throwback, what I thought was just a perfectly timed call. He executed that perfectly. Great call by Cliff Kingsbury as well. The throw to Ertz where he ripped the ball away from Jason Pinnock. They didn't have an intermediate passing game in week 1. They did in week 2. So to your point, it's growing very fast. If this is the base.
And I had to take the callers after the post-game show. I had to take a week of people. Why won't Cliff Kingsbury run a certain offense? I was like, do you think week 1 on the road, he put the whole playbook in the rookie quarterback's lap.
Right.
Because they like, we ain't doing any motion. I was like, but how you know that ain't going to happen in the future? We came out this game, 65% of the plays with motion. All right, so what I'm telling you, this is layer cake that we're seeing. We're seeing progression. We're not going to get the whole feast right now. He's going to layer these things and add these things. Every week is going to be a different wrinkle with this guy. And that's what's going to have defensive coordinators up all night when it comes to Jaden Daniels. He is a different type. He's actually a pass-first quarterback that happens to run. And that's why when I think about him, it's just a comparison to how he glides when he runs and his arm motion. I see Randall Cunningham.
Okay.
I see tons of Randall when it comes to that smoothness. And we never knew how fast Randall was because he glides across the field. I think Jaden has that same aspect.
You know what? No one has ever won the Super Bowl in September. It's never happened.
Yeah. Right.
And in this case, too, this is their second game. Everybody here is new. I don't know what any of the nitpicking would be when they haven't turned the ball over yet. He's completing 75% of his passes. You're angry he got the wind knocked out of him? I mean, like, what is exactly the issue here that you haven't seen? Go watch Caleb Williams in his first couple of games. You'll feel differently about where it is. Go watch Bo Nix.
Yes, they look like rookies.
They look like rookies. This guy hasn't had a day where he's looked like a rookie. Not at any point in time, and he'll have bad moments. Of course he will. It's the NFL. But to this point, if you're finding anything particularly wrong with what they're doing or how they're doing it or what he's doing, boy, you are looking for problems because all I see is a massive upside.
I think it's because post-traumatic stress.
Oh, I was going to say.
I keep trying to tell people the team is not on your clock. All right? Their clock is, it's been 25 years of just badness. By the way, the Browns had 100. 25 years of bad football. We need it now. And I'm like, they're not on your clock. New head coach, new owner, new GM, new quarterback. This is ground zero. This is the worst it's going to be for the next 10 years. If you ain't excited about this and you still nitpicking, trying to find ways, I don't want to go because I just think they're going to let me down. Come on. Relationships are up and down.
Or even like with the Giants game, you go in the locker room last week and you're like, Daniel Jones is 5-1 against you guys. And they're like, we weren't here.
We weren't here.
Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I've never played against him in Northwest Stadium. And by the way, didn't Northwest Stadium give us a good omen? The first play ever at Northwest Stadium, 100-yard kickout return. The first game, a New York Giants win. We got over that giant hump. The coach's first win at Northwest Stadium. I don't know.
Oh, the entire staff outside the stadium, an apology.
Yeah.
Because I was right across the stadium. I got nice parking, because I work for the team now. Yeah. But when I was leaving, I had to leave early to get ready for my other show. Yeah. And so I didn't realize it was one way. Yeah. So I just take a left, going against traffic. And as soon as there was nobody coming around the corner, thankfully, and there's a dude in a golf cart going,
don't do it.
I was like, wrong way, right? I'm gonna go this way. Yeah. And even then, I was like, you know what? Could have been bad here. No.
Not in Northwest.
No, not Northwest.
No, not in
Everything's fine. It was just like,
Did you see that sun shining at Northwest yesterday?
It's fine.
I looked up in there and I was like, who looking down on us right now? It just felt.
God? Is that you?
Is that him? All I knew was, he was like, I haven't been over this way for a while.
Yeah. He's like, I've been busy in Kansas City.
Right. Thank you. But it was just, and just the fans' energy. Mm-hmm. The fans' energy was there. I was talking so much trash to Giant fans, and the Giant fans, they had this look in their face of, we got Daniel Jones as a quarterback.
Right.
So we don't even really care. We just here to enjoy ourselves. And it felt very good to me for us not to be where they at right now.
And I think it's important to take that long-term view. It's like being a freshman again in many ways. And remember, Jaden Daniels started his career where? At Arizona State. Yeah. And then when he left, his teammates were making fun of him. Remember, like, this guy's out of here. He's not that good.
Yeah.
He got a little more experience.
Yeah.
He goes elsewhere. He builds up his resume. He gets those reps. And then he becomes the guy that he knew he could be. And it's sort of the same thing. It takes time to learn the pro game. We're seeing that with other rookie quarterbacks, like we've talked about. You just have to take a deep breath and realize this is a long game we're playing. So when we see those throws out to the flat, Cliff Kingsbury is building confidence and building out the playbook. It doesn't all happen in week 2.
Well, I got so many calls yesterday. Why we ain't throwing the ball down the field? I was like, we're doing what's in the best interest for Jaden Daniels, not for your fantasy football league. We're watching this think about it. People that are not used to things.
It's not my fault you started Olamide Zaccheaus in fantasy this week.
Like, what were you doing? But if you started J.K. Dobbins, People, that's why I tell people this NFL, it's no rhyme or reason to fantasy football. Like, just because somebody was good last year, don't make them good this year. Every year is a new year. If I told you at the beginning of the year the Saints would be 2-0.
And they look great.
And no, not just winning by 3 points, blowing people out, you'd have been like, nah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen at all. Nobody in the Texans division got a win but the Texans. And I thought the Colts was going to be a good team, personally.
I did too.
And I still think they're going to be a good team. But the NFL is just not predictable. I tell people that all the time. It's just not predictable.
Can I give you one quick aside on fantasy football since we're all in a league here?
Yeah.
Did you know I played Anna's team in fantasy football this week?
How did you fare?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you why I won. She started Christian McCaffrey, who was put on IR.
Nice.
Okay.
Right?
Nice.
She
Right.
started another player who didn't play. Keenan Allen didn't play. Started him.
Anna
There you go,
Peters.
Anna.
Ed, here's the best ones. Did not play a defense or a kicker.
No need.
Chose to
No
just
need.
go neither. Okay, so I had a bizarre bye week in fantasy football.
Anna?
this week.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
true.
looking good right now. I have no way to explain myself, but basically I knew it was bad when the first week I was going up against Santana, and I was with some of my other Commanders friends, and we're sitting there and they're like, "Did you not draft a kicker or a defense?" I've never played fantasy football before.
You
So I
you
didn't
had
know.
a week you could have picked them up. They're readily available, incling one that made
I
7
don't
field
know
goals.
how to
She
use
could
the
have had him.
interface.
Yeah, you could have.
I'm gonna blame it on interface design for for using.
It's really, it's not me. It's the interface
Right.
design and
Right.
Yahoo
Yes.
Fantasy, guys. Come on.
Technically, I wasn't able to get things done.
I don't know how I'm supposed to make these changes when the interface
I
is
am
so screwed up.
literally the worst fantasy football player in the history of fantasy football. Arguably.
I've never seen anyone quit in week 1 because that's what it felt like. And there was part of me that goes, do I text her and tell her she doesn't have a kicker or a defense?
You know you feel bad when you I just really want to give her a heads up
Right.
that we actually have a game tomorrow,
Yeah.
It happens, man.
Just
Don't
pick
worry
up
about
any
it.
defense.
You know, I'm
any
just
any
here-
is better than none.
Yes.
I'm just going to make everybody feel
Pick up
really good
Carolina's
about
I was
it.
just gonna grab the Panthers while you can.
Nobody has Bryce
Hurry
Young or the Panthers. All right, you're fine.
Yeah.
So
it's
since
been
we're
a
talking
rough week.
fantasy, what's your dream scenario
Yeah.
against the Bengals? I mean, this is a bad spot to catch Cincinnati
Because they're down.
because they're wounded and they are not going to go 0-3.
We're not afraid of that. We're
All right.
not afraid of that. I told you, our calendar, our clock is not on their clock. We're trying to get better every week. All right. Now, here go the thing about when you're playing against a Cincinnati team. It's so funny how when I studied them, Cincinnati has no trouble out of Kansas City, and they have all the trouble out of the world from the Ravens. So I why? I wonder why. And it's because Lamar is a true running quarterback, and running quarterbacks give Cincinnati's defense prime trouble. They do a good job of keeping Pat Mahomes inside of the pocket, where they can't do that with Lamar. Our guy's more like Lamar.
Yeah.
All right. So you're saying let me watch it some more. Well, Lamar gets 3 to 4 or 5 cheap first downs when plays break down against the Cincinnati Bengals that Pat is not getting. All right. Well, Jane Daniels has that same ability. So I'm wondering, are they gonna have that same game plan they have for Lamar Jackson for Jaden Daniels? All right. And we got a lot of unknown. Like I said, the reason we jumped out on that Giants defense is because they studied us all week and said they don't motion.
Okay.
He didn't motion with the Cardinals. He ain't gonna motion now. We came out and we motioned. All right. So there you go. It's some unpredictability with this offense that I think will give us a head up on the Cincinnati defense. The question is, can we slow down? I didn't say stop.
Yeah.
Burrow, Chase, and T. Higgins don't seem to be playing till he get his money. So
Yes.
that works in our favor. So can we slow that offense down?
Yeah, I think the biggest concern, and I would hope actually that they can control the clock again. So I think leaning on B-Rob and Eckler and Daniels extending plays and getting long drives and keeping Burrow off the field is probably the best game plan here. Off of what we saw from Malik Neighbors, who now seeing him in person looks like Jamar Chase to me in a lot of ways, and the way that his acceleration after the catch is really extraordinary. That's what Chase has too. I'll turn to you.
Yeah.
They're dealing with an extraordinary quarterback and very, very, very good receivers if both Higgins and Chase play.
With relationships, with visual relationships. And that's what
It's a tough matchup.
It's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
When your quarterback can come to the line and glance at you and change the play. That's what type relationship him and Chase has, steaming back from college. So it's going to be a challenge for the defensive backfield. I think the linebacking core is going to determine this, because the best way to stop wide receiver from catching balls is do what Frankie Louvu did to Malik Neighbors. Yes. And give him the business. All right. You seen him slow down for a little bit after that. All right?
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, when I look at great defenses, I look at the San Francisco defense. The strength of it is the middle of the defense. I look at the Ravens. The strength of it is the middle of the defense. All the good defenses is the middle of the defense. All right. Well, we got better in that part. That's going to allow us to play against high-powered offenses. And the great part we ever did was playing against Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay in that first game on the road. I think they learned a lot of things that they can do and a lot of stuff that they cannot do. I think that was the great lesson. And now that Tampa went up to Detroit and beat them, that Tampa Bay loss ain't so bad now, is it?
Yeah. So let me ask you this. How difficult is it to face a good and desperate football team? Because the Bengals, they start off slow. It seems like every year they do this, every single year. Yeah. But this is a desperate football team.
A wounded animal will eat you alive. And we know this. Now, the thing about football players, we all want to win. But when our back against the wall, now it's that we have to win. Not we need to win. We have to win, because if you start 0-3, your chances of getting to the playoffs are not that high. Matter of fact, it's below 30%. So at the end of the day, it's a must win for them. I love it because all the pressure is on them. The pressure's not on us.
Yeah. You know, like a couple of years ago when Washington went up and beat Philadelphia, they were 9-0. Right?
Yeah.
And they went up and did it. Well, they weren't feeling it like this. They were getting a completely different kind of media narrative. What really bothers me about this is it's going to be the lone game on the schedule that day.
Yeah.
It's impossible to tune everything out.
Yeah.
You know what's going to be said about them all day long. And the pressure on them, what is that locker room going to look like if they were to lose? They don't even want to answer those questions.
Yeah.
So this is tough spot for Washington, just from just living in the media narrative space, knowing what's going to be said about them all week leading into this, and then being the only thing on the schedule, and Stephen A's on screaming about you about let's find out if you're whatever this or whatever that.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the whole day before they kick off. It's a tough spot.
But I like this, putting that pressure on a young team like this. Pressure makes you who you are. Putting Jalen Daniels in these situations is only going to make him better. And nobody likes to see it. We love Sundays. And Thursday we love them too. But that Monday night, you the only show in town. You own the media skyway. They belong to you. Everybody wants to bring their A game on a game like that. So it's just as much as Cincinnati Bengals want to come and win their first game, our team is going to want to earn some respect that day too also. So it's going to be one of those games.
You never know what's going to happen. Bram's going to be there. You're going to be there. You're going to be here.
No, most definitely I'll be here.
Okay.
You know, they like to leave me while they go on the road so I can do the post-game show, so I can reel the fans back in, win, lose, or draw.
Right.
I had to mentally wheel them back into the orbit that we're in. Even after win last night, I had to.
Say, Bram, go with the team, do the show. Smoot, keep doing your thing, man. Just keep doing your thing.
You just stay back and clean the house up, make sure the backyard taken up. We're going to take Bram on the road, do what we got to do.
He's the voice of the Commanders, Bram Weinstein. Appreciate it, Bram.
Thanks, guys.
Great to have Bram on the show. As always, time to pay some bills, and then you're going to geek out.
Yes, we geeking out.
And why do we geek out? Because the pod is presented by SeatGeek, the official ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders. It's official.
Yep.
SeatGeek. The deal is finalized. They are the newest member of the Commanders family. Get used to the name. You will hear it all season long. Doesn't matter if you're buying tickets, selling tickets to Commanders games. In fact, any event in the DMV area, download the app, go to the website. It is SeatGeek, the new official ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders, so Commanders fans can fan.
Yes, get your fan on.
What are you geeking out on?
This is what I'm geeking out on. I did not know September 13th, 3 days ago.
Okay.
Was National Bald is Beauty Day. Next one, y'all are going to love this one.
I like that you have a list here.
Y'all going to love this one right here. A London woman who married herself a year ago
I saw this.
Divorced herself 3 weeks ago. Even a woman couldn't take herself for a year. She had to leave herself. I'm wondering, did her other half of herself take the rest of the money? How was things broken off? First of all, I didn't even know it was legal to marry yourself. She married herself and divorced herself. If I'm her lawyer, I'm like, should I feel bad from taking your money? Like, you here go the thing, Jenks.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You ever get tired of yourself? I'm serious. I get tired of myself. I'm like,
why did I do that?
Because, well, you know how people are built a certain way. Like, you're wired a certain way.
Yeah.
You can try to change your behavior for sure.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I always obsess about things. I think the worst. I'm like, I am tired of myself. I'm tired of my brain. I'm tired of thinking this way.
Hey.
Like Anna's shaking her head. I'm like, I need a break from me. So if I'm married to myself, I'm like, I need a break from you.
Sometimes I'll be like, you know what? What was you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I have to self-check myself. Like, what is wrong
Was
with
it
you?
for benefits? I don't know how else you justify that.
Well, her marrying herself?
Yeah.
I have, like I say, I didn't even think that was possible.
Yeah, we're going to have to do some
Because she's one entity. Like, you can't, it has to be two entities, two souls.
Was she she wasn't formally?
No, she was married to herself.
Formally.
Through the government.
She's legally married to herself. It says it on her marriage license.
Huh.
Her name and her name.
Maybe
Is that the ultimate form of selfishness? Because if you're going to love someone and spend the rest of your life with someone, you have to be selfless, right?
Yes.
Always
you
take
got love
someone
going the
else
opposite
into
direction.
account. And she's looking in the mirror like, you know what I love? Me.
Yes.
More than anybody. Me. I'm the best. Maybe I'll marry myself.
And she did marry herself and she divorced herself. I hope she finds love. All right, that's all
Let's
I can
hope
say.
so.
Now, this one right, y'all gonna love, Since I be reporting on towns with great names.
Oh.
Yes, I have to. It's a town in Norway named Hale. All right? Norway. And it freezes over. Every year it freezes over. Hale. So imagine if I tell my mom, I'm going to go out of town. Where are you going, son? Hale. Hale, Norway.
I mean, it has to freeze over. It's Norway. How many people do you think take a picture next to the hell sign in Norway every year?
Gotta be I'm wondering, does it get stole like the Shitterton sign?
That's true.
I'm wondering, does it stole? Because if I feel like, yeah, man, I'm finna, if somebody get to argue with you, and they're like, I hate you, Fred, go to hell. All right, I'm going to Norway. Just get on the plane, go to Norway.
Has to be. You got a whole list there.
No, just 3 for the day.
Oh, okay.
3, because I like to really geek out. That's my thing. That's my thing right there. Anna, what would you got over there?
Well, I have a voicemail.
We need to give people the number. I'm sorry to interrupt, Anna.
Oh, yes, please.
Yes, give them the number.
I don't have it here. Do you have it?
I have it memorized.
Oh, you have it memorized? All right.
703-726-7419. 703-726-7419. Guys, do not forget to leave your voicemails. We really appreciate your game predictions. However, our show is on Mondays.
Yes. No game predictions. Tell me, have you been to some of these cities that I'm bringing up? How about that? All right. Where in America is our guy traveling? Is he still traveling around?
He is. We did hear from him last week.
Oh, yeah?
He was in Detroit.
Detroit,
Yes.
the Motor City.
Yes.
All right.
The Motor City.
Hey, people forget that Detroit is sitting on water over there, and Canada is literally right
Also,
across
the crazy thing
the
about Detroit, it's spread out.
It's huge.
It goes on forever.
It's
crazy.
huge,
Yeah.
but I like going to Canada,
I like
right
that.
across the bridge.
Great city. Sounds like he's having a great time.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure he's safe. All right,
Yeah,
check
yes,
in with
yes.
us.
Please keep checking in.
Yeah, let us know you're safe.
We'll get you.
Yeah.
We'll get you next week, hopefully. All right. Should I kick us off with
Let's do
our
it.
first
Yeah,
voicemail?
let's see what you got.
All right. This is our first and only voicemail for the week, by the way. But
One and done.
please, guys, keep leaving your voicemails. Love it. They flood my inbox. So it's awesome. But I just have one this week because you all left a lot of game predictions.
Yeah.
So no game predictions. Okay.
Yo, man, great show. What do you think about our tight end group, Sanat and Ertz doing their thing, possibly have some more two tight end type schemes going on to where we can confuse some people and possibly get one of these guys open? Yo, man, SeatGeek. Love you guys.
Oh, SeatGeek, shout out too.
Peace. Jenks, do your thing, my friend. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate you, man.
You got some love there, G.
Little love. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Listen, he gave love to everybody. Hey, you know what? I think Cynic is going to be one of those guys that's going to shock people once he really gets his feet on the ground. But Ertz, I think Ertz got a lot left.
Yeah.
I think people are looking at Ertz as a Band-Aid. I think Ertz don't want to be a Band-Aid. I think Ertz said, I want to extend my career here. And I want to grow with Jaden Daniels, but two tight ends is always dangerous because you can go flat across the line. You can get one and displace him and move him to the slot. You can move him back in. You can run at us. There's so much you can do with tight ends, but do not forget Bates Motel. Don't forget John Bates, because John Bates is one of the better blocking tight ends in the league. Yep. So you got to have one of those guys too. So I think the tight end room is looking good for the future. The question is always going to be how long, how much Ertz got left in the tank.
I love this tight end room. And I think a few things here. I think, number one, as the season goes on, I know a lot of people want to see Cliff throw it down the field. Yeah. That's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And when that happens, Zach Ertz is in great shape.
Yeah.
We saw that during the preseason, during offseason. He's going to be that guy. And also, if this team builds an identity, as far as being more physical at the line of scrimmage, I love it when offensive coordinators will build off certain plays. And so if they have a 2 tight end set and they're being physical, you might see all of a sudden everybody thinks, oh, they're being physical and it's going to go to B-Rob. Play action. You see a tight end go out, and they build off what they think is going to be a handoff. You will see something like that later on in the year.
I send that tight end right up that seam. I send that tight end for a tight end screen because you think B-Rob is getting the ball. Like, it's just so much you can do off of those plays, especially when you got versatile tight ends, and that's what we got. Send it to me. It could be the most versatile one because he's a good blocker. He's a good route runner, and he got good yak after the catch. So he's one of those guys, once he learns the game and the game really slows down to him, he's going to lead people in his wake similar to what B-Rob does.
And he gets to learn from Zach Ertz. That's the perfect combination.
That's the perfect marriage right there. Like, if you want to have a successful marriage, only call the people that you know still married to their spouses. I'm tired of people calling their friend that's single, getting advice on how to stay with their mate. No. Call the people that's battle tested. They're going to lead you in the right direction.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, the Emmys were on Sunday. I didn't watch the Emmys, but I caught up a little bit.
It lackluster. They done lost a little fire right there.
The Bear.
Here's
the thing.
The
Bear. All right, so season 3 for the Bear. The first 2 seasons incredible. I am midway through the 3rd season. It's stressing me out, but there's this big debate online. Is The Bear a comedy? And I think that is ridiculous. It is not a comedy. It has comedic moments, but do you think it's a comedy as opposed to a drama?
No, this is what I hate.
Okay.
When you come to these shows, they act like comedies and superhero movies are not real acting in real movies. First of all, to me, if it takes a lot to cry, it takes even more to make me laugh. So I think when it comes to comedians that cross over into really acting, they are the actors because they have such a range. They can go and be serious, but they can also play off the script and make you laugh with stuff that's not written.
Yes.
But the Emmys don't like to take comedies and say, here go the best show of the year.
Especially the Oscars.
The Oscars hate it. Like, they hate Adam Sandler. Like, I'm talking about hates him.
Right.
Eddie Murphy. They hate comedy dudes that require, but all they movies do is make money. Money. But they do not want to give him no respect, so guess what I'm going to do? We giving out Get Loud Emmys. Right.
Oh.
Adam Sandler, you get an Emmy. Eddie Murphy, Will Ferrell, everybody. Everybody that makes me laugh and makes me happy, Key and Peele, everybody, David Chappelle, a Get Loud Emmy goes to y'all, my friend.
By the way, we were watching some stuff before we came on.
Yeah.
Watch the Key and Peele bloopers. You ever watched those?
I love them.
Because those guys are so funny, and the bloopers kill me even more because they're so close, like they're such close friends, and they did the comedy together, and so to watch the interaction, I love that kind of stuff.
No, and it's something about sketch comedy that allows you to attack every aspect of what's going on in the human world right now. Like, I love it. I love the substitute teacher. How many of us did have substitute teachers that come in there and say everybody's name wrong? Everybody. Blake. No, it's Blake.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah, like everybody's had their substitute teacher, Mr. Garvey. So they touch on things that really touch on you, put on your heartstrings.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people need to be more prone to do, more prone to laugh at our failures instead of dwelling them. When
you were in school,
I
bet. I'm not gonna say teacher's pet, but did you have teachers who?
No, I sat right by the desk because they knew I could control the classroom.
Oh yeah?
They knew if they don't control me, I am about to turn this thing out because I'm not quiet. All right?
No.
And I was also smart.
Yeah.
So they would ask me questions thinking they were gonna put me in a bind. I'm like, no, I just blurt the answer out, go back to talking. Because guess what? I understand what you're saying, but so they like, nah, let me corral him. Mm-hmm. Let me get him over here because if I don't, he's not going to let me teach this class. All right? So I had plenty of teachers get me, you want to teach the class? You come on up here and teach the class. No problem. Here I come, Mr. Garvey time. You know what I'm saying?
I had one teacher in high school, and it was a small town, so
Yeah.
we'd all known each other forever, right? And I was always like straight A's, but I'd always get excessive talking. I was always talking.
I got it too.
And my teacher, Mrs. Hayward, I would always go at it with this girl, Tanya, in class, because Tanya was just always on my nerves. She'd be like, I got a boyfriend, Randy. I was like, oh, Randy.
Sounds
we
like
went to the movies this
sound
weekend.
like
It's like, okay. Except we go to the theater, but then we want to see things that are different. So he'll go to one movie and I'll go to the other. I'm like, what?
Are y'all a couple?
I was like, so you go to the movies together, but you don't go see the same movie? I go, why do you even go? And so my teacher would just sit back and like let this happen and let me go on for about 5 or 6 minutes and be like, all right, Jenkins, let's wrap this up now.
Yeah.
But I was speaking with the class like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Like, come on, if we're going to the movies together.
Right.
But I think the movies is a date that if you're gonna do it, y'all always have to be like know each other and be close, because that's a very quiet date.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're trying to get to know somebody, I can't do it in a movie theater where people gonna be shushing me every time I want to ask her a question. I think dinner, walk by the monuments with the Washington Monument in the background, my iPhone playing,
Cool weather.
Sade, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just enjoying it. But movies, I think you already need to be close to take that chance.
Yeah, because there's something to be said for being comfortable in silence with someone.
Yeah.
Because if you just got to know someone, it's like, all right.
And then we just hear, I'm
Yeah.
like, call my homeboy, yeah, we ain't said a word to each other. And she eating all the popcorn, my friend. I don't know.
Anna, thoughts here?
My parents,
Yeah, she eating all the popcorn.
my parents' first date was to the movies.
Oh, was it?
And the movie that they were showing was Pulp Fiction. Imagine that for your
That was
first
their first,
date.
wow.
First date, they saw Pulp Fiction together.
Samuel Jackson.
And my dad's ex-girlfriend was at the same movie.
That's what happened when you live in the village.
So I love your dad. I talk to Anna's dad on Twitter all the time.
I'm just saying, when you live in the same village, you're gonna run past people that you dated. Like I always say this.
It
when
was downtown Chicago. It was downtown Chicago.
That's love.
What are the
But your
odds?
daddy got reach, all right? Because he a Colorado guy, and he just in Chicago. Yeah, hey, all I'm saying is, if you live in the village, you're gonna cross paths with people. That's understandable in the dating world. All I'm saying, people, let's learn to laugh through our flaws and laugh through our embarrassing times, and I think that'll make the world a better place.
Yeah, I like that. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Heisman Trophy. Who's going to win the Heisman? I know Anna's, and listen, it's fair. Travis Hunter.
That's why she's so
great.
happy.
Yes.
That's why she's so happy. But we know Heisman Trophy winners usually come from the winning teams.
Hold on, though. I'm sorry. I have to.
She
I
loses
have to
it.
interject.
She lost it when we talk about Colorado.
Travis Hunter, he's amazing. He might be the best player, best wide receiver, best player on the offense in college football.
Luther Burden for the Missouri Tigers is the best wide receiver next.
He also might be the best
Defensive
TV
back.
in college
I
football.
believe that.
No, that's Will Johnson, the cornerback for the Michigan Wolverines.
Johnson is very good.
And when's the last time we have had a non-quarterback win a Heisman?
Was it Charles Woodson?
I just think it's overdue.
Okay, you're right about that. And what's going to help him? Carson Beck for Georgia is not just blowing away with the numbers. Shador, good numbers, but just not blowing it away. Now,
Watch out for Quinn Ewers if he gets healthy.
no, Arch Manning.
Arch is not going to win.
No, but what I'm saying is, the Heisman is about hype. And if Ewers mixes 3-4 games because he's injured now,
Not going to happen.
I'm just saying what Arch did. Listen
Yes.
to me. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I know when they trying to put you on that
Yes.
urn, and guess what? I'm sorry. With the backing of Texas and a Manning, all I'm saying is anything is possible in this world.
Oh, listen, Arch is going to be great,
Yeah.
but this is Quinn Ewers' team. And Quinn is week to week. I know for a fact, look, he's the QB1 because I understand why people get hyped about Arch. But two
He
things.
lost me with the Mohawk. Quinn Ewers lost me with the Mohawk.
That was 2 years ago.
I can't get it out of my head.
The Mohawk-less Quinn Ewers went into Tuscaloosa and beat Bama last year. He went into Ann Arbor and beat Michigan this year and put on a passing clinic. This guy going into last week's game was the Heisman Trophy favorite, and then Manning comes in Archer's going to be great against UTSA, who got drilled by Texas State the week before. And they're like, oh, my God, he's amazing. He is amazing. If Quinn Ewers misses a couple games because
he
has, who do we have? Louisiana Monroe and then Mississippi State. You guys lost to Toledo last week, right?
No, we didn't. We beat Toledo.
Anna, can we look that up? I think you guys lost to Toledo.
We lost to Arizona State.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know, man.
No, not us.
How many points you need?
I need at least, because we coming to y'all, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Toledo, beat Mississippi State by a lot. It was 41-17.
41-17? Yeah. All right, let's do it. Done.
All right, now since you want to go there, talk about my team's dead in the SEC right now, because we basically are. I understand. It's Coach Libby's first year there.
Yeah.
Right, from Liberty. Give him a chance to make it grow. Let grandmama cook. All right? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But now it's a little sad times I have to bring up. We lost a great man, James Earl Jones.
Oh, yes.
The great James Earl Jones. The great Mississippian James Earl Jones. And if you had to say one line that makes you think of James Earl Jones, what line is that?
There's two to choose from. I know the one you're thinking of. Luke, yes. I am your father.
Who am I?
Oh, or the other one is, which he's known for, is this is CNN. That's another one.
But he also got My Son Works. I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. My son works. Like, well, what are you talking about? No. James Earl Jones, great Mississippian, a voice from just heaven, great man. I had to really look up some of his moves. I think we forget about all the moves he did in the 70s.
Oh, my gosh.
He was all over the place. It's just certain people, we look at them, and we only see an old version of them, like Morgan Freeman.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, nobody sees young pictures of young Morgan.
Do you know what I read about James Earl Jones, which I think you'll appreciate this story? First of all, one of the few people that has the EGOT, which is the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony.
The EGOT.
Yes. He loved acting on stage, but when he was a child in Mississippi, he stuttered.
Yeah.
And so
So did Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, and the teacher said, okay, I want you to write this poem, whatever it is. I want to teach you how to articulate or how to express yourself in the right way.
Yeah.
And so the poem was so good, the teacher accused him on purpose of plagiarism. Said, oh, you didn't write that. And so
he was like, it's no internet.
It's like, what? So he went up there and performed it in front of the classroom to sort of prove his teacher wrong.
Yeah.
And in that moment, he had not talked to hardly anyone for years because he was so
worried.
Yeah,
he
was.
Yeah.
And in that moment, it gave him confidence, like I'm speaking and people are listening to my voice and I'm getting over this fear, and it helped him become who he was.
That's what I'm saying. All great stories start with some setback. Like some setback. So thinking about showing love to James Earl Jones, may he rest in peace, it made me think about what other great Mississippians do people not know? Because did you know he was from Mississippi before I told you
Absolutely
that?
not. No.
So I'm going to go through a list of people, and I want you to say yay or nay. Did you think I even know that they was from Mississippi?
Okay.
All right. Let's start here. First, the great Robin Roberts.
No.
You didn't think she was from Mississippi?
No. And man, she used to do Sports Center. Now she does Good Morning America. She's great.
All right. Another one from Mississippi. That's all we do is make great people. 2, Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett's from Mississippi?
Yeah, come on now. Don't do that. Like, oh.
No, I just didn't know.
Did somebody drive through Mississippi and leave Jimmy Buffett?
I assumed he was from Florida or somewhere.
Yeah. No, he's Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
All right. Miss the great Oprah Winfrey.
I did know Oprah was from Mississippi.
Oh, I know it. She's just a billionaire.
She's Oprah.
She's just a billionaire. Did you know Elvis, the Pelvis Presley? Because everybody thinks he's from Memphis.
Memphis, yeah.
He's from Mississippi, the Golden Triangle, North Mississippi, not too far from Mississippi State, Tupelo. That's where he from. Elvis Presley. We just talked about this man, the voice of Jesus, Morgan Freeman.
Yes. I did know he was from Mississippi.
So is this something about voice cords in Mississippi that we got going? Because Oprah voice is distinct. James Earl Jones
I don't
is
know what
distinct.
that is. That's interesting,
Morgan
though.
Freeman is distinct.
Yeah.
Let me continue to go.
Oh, okay.
Right? Snoop Dogg. We call him Snoop Beagle.
I thought he was from the LBC.
No, he's from the M.I. Crooked letter I.
By the way, how did I sound when I said I thought Snoop was from the LBC?
Yeah, you sound like, was that your MTV voice or something?
I'm like, Snoop is from the LBC.
Yeah, like I thought you were going to get up and start walking. I didn't know
Hey,
what
this is iced coffee coming at you. Come on.
All right. Yes, most people don't know Snoop Dogg is from there.
I didn't know that.
All
Okay.
right. Guess what? Rick Ross.
Oh,
The
really?
boss. Mississippi.
Oh, by the way, did you see that LL has a new album out?
It's fire, too.
It is fire.
It's fire.
He's got that song with Rick Ross and Pitbull.
Hey, it's fire. Listen, I didn't think it was going to be cool to be listening
didn't
to LL Cool J new album in 2024.
He's got a duet with Eminem on there, too?
Yeah, he got one on him, which is hard.
Yeah.
All right, got another one.
Okay.
Mrs. Britney Spears.
I think I did know that.
Did you?
She seems like she's from
Come
Mississippi.
on now. Come on. It's two phases to Britney Spears. Stop all that hate.
It's not hate. But also, don't you think with Britney, like, at first you're like, let's, we need to end this conservatorship. And now you're like, maybe we need to put that back. Yeah, we need to put that back again.
Hey, come on. We out for her well-being. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, we want you to be okay, Britney. Okay.
William Faulkner.
Oh, really?
Yes. Mississippi. Yeah, because nobody likes to do this. Now, I had to throw some sports in here, too. You know the GOAT, Jerry Rice. Is from
Mississippi Valley State?
Who was his quarterback? Willie Todden. Let me answer that for you.
Oh, I would not have gotten
Willie Todden. Did you know Faith Hill?
This is a long list.
No, we got greats on greats. All right, I got two more football players.
Okay.
Walter Payton, a.k.a. Sweetness.
Jackson
State University.
That's
I'm
right.
from Jackson, most definitely. And the great Jackie Slaters. Another yellow
Jackie
jacket.
Slater, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. So I just want to give y'all some of the greatness, and I left out so many people.
There's so many great
And if I left,
Mississippians.
that's what I'm saying. If I left any Mississippians out, leave it in the voicemail, and I'll give you a shout out. I'll give that person a shout out next week. But Mississippians are great. All to you, Mr. James Earl Jones. Rest in peace. Also,
Tito Jackson.
Rest in peace.
Yes,
Most
amen to
definitely.
that, man. Had a great career with his brothers. Was always dedicated to his family. So, and by the way, I'd forgotten that his sons were 3T at one time. Remember that group, 3T?
Were they all Tito's sons?
All Tito's sons, yeah.
I did not know that.
I'd forgotten about that. I remember that from back in the day because it was a while back. But I was reading that this morning. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about those guys. So
Hey,
RP to Tito
listen,
too.
You learn new stuff every day. Rest in peace, my brothers.
Amen to that. All right, that's it for the Get Loud podcast. That's my guy Smoot. I'm Jinx. Man, that steak dinner's gonna be good.
What?